Yep, your recording says live.
Okay. So we are officially live, guys. Welcome to our week 6 webinar on report card writing. So we're going to start with a short little icebreaker activity. Oh, first let's introduce ourselves. I'm Rabia, as you all know.
I'm Stefan, for those of you who may not know.
Okay. So for our icebreaker activity, those color cards you guys have ready, it's okay if you don't even have the colors. That's why I put letters in brackets for people who probably had to do them like a bit last minute. That's fine. You guys have all your materials with you?
Thumbs up if you're ready.
Yep. Okay.
All right.
So I'm going to be reading out different statements about various students in the class, and your job is to match the color card to the statement. So as example states, Lizzie uses her agenda daily to keep track of all her homework, and which learning skill or work habit is Lizzie modeling. So you would put up the corresponding card to that. So let's just answer the first one. What do you think it is? Okay, so I see purple.
Some self-regulation, yeah,
Yep.
More purple. Very good.
Mm-hmm. And then I see yellow. Yellow and purple, yeah.
Organization, very good, okay.
Yep, and yeah, there is more than one correct response, so.
So I think we have the hang of it.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead then and start with the first one.
Okay, so the first one is, Sarah completed her Genius Hour project before the given deadline. I see green, green, purple, and orange. Okay. I see responsibility, self-regulation, and organization.
So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's all of them are definitely applicable here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So just go to the next slide. Let's see
go.
what the result is. Yeah, next. Okay, so it is responsibility, but you guys are all right because there are more than one correct answer. And the reason why it's responsibility is because she fulfills the responsibilities and commitments of the learning environment, and by completing and submitting class work on time, that falls under responsibility, and taking responsibility for managing her own behavior. And yeah, it's also self-regulation as well because she's I guess she's like committed to getting the task done, and she keeps herself in check, and she uses her time wisely for that.
An initiative definitely for going ahead of schedule,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Okay,
next
so
one.
next one is Adam makes use of his agenda daily and writes down important dates such as the upcoming ROM field trip. Okay, so I see some purple, yellow, some
so they can see.
Organization, yep. I see some blue in there. Okay, most people are saying yellow. And I see green and purple. Okay.
Okay, so
let's go to that. And it's organization. So he establishes priorities and manages time to complete tasks and achieves goals by writing it down in his agenda. And organization also means devising and following a plan and process for completing work and tasks, and identifying, gathering, evaluating, and using information, technology, and resources to complete tasks. Okay. Next one. Derek comes in during nutrition breaks to work on his art project.
Can you say that again? Sorry, you cut off.
Derek comes in during nutrition breaks to work on his art project. Okay, so I see Eunice has pink, green, blue, orange. I like the use of the markers. That's nice. Very creative. I see some purple and green. Green and orange, green and purple, orange and blue. And I see some initiative, self-regulation, and independent work. Nice. I like how you guys all have different answers here. That's it's very what's that word called? Like it's mind opening. Like it's a mind opener. Like it just makes you think of. I don't know what I'm thinking of right now, but
they're all justifiable answers, which is the important thing here. So, you know, it just goes to show again that, you know, report card writing isn't really the scary thing, you know, because all these different points of view can be justified, and that's the key.
Exactly. Yeah, different points of view, and you all have your interpretation according to the stuff I'm seeing in the chat. And yeah, it falls under independent work. The student independently monitors, assesses, and revises plans to complete tasks and meet goals, and uses class time appropriately to complete tasks and follows instructions with minimal supervision.
And again, this is our point of view and our interpretation, right? There's no real wrong answer so long as you can justify.
Yeah, and honestly, like it could also fall under like initiative too, because he's like using his time just to come in and just to work on something. Then he could be like playing with the other kids, but he chooses like he's like, no, I have this assignment due, and you know, and it's also self-regulation as well. So falls under a lot of categories. And so the next one is Maya has a solution to a difficult math problem and wants to help her group members out by sharing her knowledge. Okay, so a lot of you guys are saying pink, green, yeah, a lot of collaboration. I see a lot of you guys are on the same page as this. Okay, green and pink, yeah. So I see a lot of green and pinks here. Okay, and it falls under collaboration, but you're also right, it also falls under the green category, which was
Initiative.
Initiative, yes. So the student accepts various roles and an equitable share of work in a group, responds positively to the ideas, opinions, values, and traditions of others, and builds healthy peer-to-peer relationships through personal and media-assisted interactions, works with others to resolve conflicts and builds consensus to achieve group goals, and shares information, resources, and expertise, and promotes critical thinking to solve problems and make decisions. Okay, so next one is, Aisha was excited and eager to learn about rocks and minerals that she did some prior knowledge on the topic before coming to school. We have green, green, purple. That's interesting. Green and blue. Nice. Okay. So there's a few different ones there, but a lot of you were on the same page as green. So it was initiative, but you guys are all correct as well because it can fall under other categories. So initiative is the student looks for and acts on new ideas and opportunities for learning, demonstrates the capacity for innovation and a willingness to take risks, and demonstrates curiosity and interest in learning, approaches new tasks with a positive attitude, and recognizes and advocates appropriately for the rights of self and others. So yeah, you guys are all correct with that. And the last one, Kyle is having some trouble with his history assignment and therefore seeks help from his teacher to, for some clarification. Okay, so I see some blue, purple, okay. Blue, purple, and green, blue. So a lot of you are saying blue, that's pretty interesting. We'll see what so it's self-regulation. So it's actually purple, but I'm surprised a lot of you guys said blue. Yeah, it does fall under responsibility as well. But the reason why it's a self-regulation in this case is because student sets own individual goals and monitors progress towards achieving them, seeks clarification or assistance when needed. So in this case, that's what he was doing. Assessing and reflects critically on own strengths, needs, and interests, and identifies learning opportunity, choices, and strategies to meet personal needs and achieve goals. Perseveres and makes an effort when responding to challenges. Okay, and then there's the achievement chart, our next part of the slide. And it is, there's 4 different categories. So there's knowledge and understanding, communication, thinking, and application. And we have to fill these out in our lesson plans. A lot of you have seen them before. Knowledge and understanding is like subject-specific content, knowledge and a comprehension of the meaning and significance, which is understanding. Communication is the conveying of the meaning through various forms. And thinking is the use of critical and creative thinking skills and or processes. And application is using that knowledge and skills to make connections with and between various contexts. And then the examples are given out there as well. Next. And then there's different levels of achievement. So these are like level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. So level 1 is basically having limited skills and knowledge. Level 2 is having some skills and knowledge. So the student at this level needs to work on identifying the learning gaps to ensure future success. And level 3 is demonstrating considerable knowledge and skills. And whereas level 4 is demonstrating a high degree of knowledge and skills with effectiveness. And it does not necessarily mean that the student has achieved expectations beyond those specified for grade or course. Okay, so to do activity. So we're going to do a fun little Kahoot quiz. I think you can click the link.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, right there. And then you can open that.
This is
Yeah. Okay.
Can you guys
Kahoot before, right? So if you guys have like another device, or you can add, I think you can use your laptops as well, and just
Can you share the
insert
link
that
on
in.
the chat, please? Because I can't click on the link that you have on your Kahoot quiz. I mean, on the slideshow.
Oh no, just.
So you go to kahoot.it on either your phone or your computer or wherever you might be. And then you would type in this game pin that's on the screen, the 7214295.
Yeah, so all you need is just a pin that we provided at the top. I see someone has logged in already. That's Taylor.
Yeah, we have TS. TS is on. Same with LJ.
Lindsay.
Is there a way?
Justin.
I don't know how MacBooks work,
No,
but for me, I can choose specific windows to mute.
Oh, really? Oh, right here.
I mean, that's not fun.
That's funny, but yeah. Good job, Eunice.
Oh, did it work?
Oh,
Oh, no. Usually you just click that.
Where is the pin that you guys are talking about?
Pardon?
Where is the pin that you're talking about?
So do you see it on the screen there?
I see yeah?
The game pin is 7214.
7, okay, hold on.
Right here.
Oh, hold on a second. I see someone's thanks.
Do you see me highlighting it? Yeah. And Eunice has also added it to chat.
Yeah, because I don't know where you're highlighting and I can't see it, but I see the one that Eunice added. 1 second.
Oh, okay.
Or it could be because they're online. This is the one that's forced.
Yeah.
Should be fine. Okay, Nadine is also in.
And on.
I mean, it's everybody, no?
Is that everyone?
Is everyone in? Justin, Eunice, Nadine, Taylor, Jordan, Lindsay's back in.
Yeah, that's everyone now. Okay, you guys are all in?
Okay.
Okay, we're going to start. So there's going to be 10 questions. Question 1. Assessment done by the student. Is it assessment for learning, as learning, of learning, or all of the above?
I jumped the gun.
Jumped the gun.
I pressed the color. I don't know what I pressed.
Oh, and we got 2 people say it's assessment for learning. And the correct answer was assessment as learning. So whoever did that was correct.
Yeah.
And
So essentially, if the student is assessing themselves using an assessing tool, it's a reflexive practice and it counts as assessment as learning.
And I like how everyone's kind of struggling with this one, because honestly, I've been struggling with assessment for as and of learning till now. Okay, so far Eunice is at the top. Okay, next one. The teacher provides descriptive feedback to students. And 3 of you were correct. It was assessment for learning.
So assessment for learning is generally formative, and a critical point of the formative process is to provide feedback in order to improve and better student learning.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and now there's Taylor at the top. Okay, so it is a continuous process. Which one is it? Assessment for, as of,
or 1 and 2, which is for and as.
Oh, so none of you guys picked as learning. 2 of you picked for learning, but you guys are correct because it's 1 and 2. So if you picked the green, yeah, then you're correct. And if you picked red, you're also correct. And blue, which surprisingly no one correct.
Yeah, we're having a hard time seeing the yellow and the green options because our faces are in front of it. So we're winging it.
Oh, because
I see.
Yeah. So is there a way to like minimize the
that's just this, so
the pictures?
You should be able to minimize everybody's picture. Where's the Hangouts? Oh. How do you do your little shifty thing?
Oh.
Where you see everything, like all the different screens.
Hold on. Hold on.
That doesn't need to be open. Go back to the Hangouts, not the Kahoot.
Oh.
Yeah, so they should be able to minimize it with an arrow. I wouldn't do that.
Oh.
Or maybe we can lift up the Kahoot.
Yeah.
Well, go back to the Kahoot. Maybe we can lift that up.
Like if you scroll, maybe.
So if we were to... No, because there's nothing underneath.
I can make it full screen too.
Oh, try that, yeah.
Move the window up.
Is that better?
No, we still can't see it.
Oh.
It's worse, based on what I see here.
Make it a separate window, shrink it.
Okay.
Like drag the corner.
You open on yours.
This is what they see right now.
This is what you see right now?
Because you pulled it out, now they see that.
Oh, okay, I get it.
So stop screen sharing. Go.
Hold on.
And screen
Sorry,
share.
guys, we're technical difficulty.
You're fine.
Screen share, just do the whole screen, entire screen this time.
Oh, entire screen?
Yeah, okay. And that way we can manipulate it.
Whoa,
yeah.
Inception.
So go to the Kahoot, and now lift it up.
Yeah, that's better.
It's better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus we can lift it up even more still.
Yeah, well, I think
just by making it like a smaller, yeah, but they can see it better.
Okay. Wow, so Taylor, you're in the lead. Eunice, you're close. And Jordan is close up after him. Let's see here. Question 4. Occurs towards the end of a student's learning. Five answers. Let's see. I'm waiting on one more person. Okay. Oh, wow. You guys all got the same answer for this one. Assessment of learning. That's good. You guys are on the right track here. Okay. And Taylor's still in the lead.
Very quick to answer.
Question 5. Students learn to differentiate good work from weak work. This one might be a little challenging. Okay, so most of you guys said assessment as learning, but it was actually assessment for learning, which is surprisingly no one picked. Interesting.
So I have a question about that one.
Yep.
So for learning is usually the teacher assessing so that they can adjust to meet goals or to support the student. So if a student is learning to differentiate good work from weak work, like, is that from feedback from the teacher, or is that themselves like assessing themselves, so self-assessment?
Because I'm thinking from the teacher.
Okay, so just it would have been more helpful if that was clarified.
Okay, yeah. So it's assessment for learning because it's the teacher works with the student to develop what work is good versus what is weak. So it's
and generally this is a modeling that this occurs in.
Yeah.
Which would usually be 4.
Yeah, I think we all just thought students.
Because the question wasn't clear enough. Yes, absolutely, we understand.
And you're still in the lead. Oh, there's like a tie in there as well. Reveal students' level of understanding. It was actually assessment of learning. Because so the reason why is when it's revealing a student's level of understanding, that's like, you know, the final marks that go on their report card, that's like their final understanding, like what they've obtained from throughout the whole term.
But I do see why all of the above would apply, definitely, because all of these do reveal the student's level of understanding in different ways and help create evidence for that final evaluation.
Yes. Oh, wow, there's still a tie over there. Okay, assessment done by the teacher. Yep, so you guys are all correct with that. And diagnostic assessment. Oh, wow. So a lot of them picked assessment of learning.
So generally, when it comes to diagnostics, this is before any new learning takes place. And it's to see where the students are. And the general reasoning for it was in order to inform and guide future teaching to match the gaps found in the diagnostics. So that's why it would be assessment for learning.
Yeah, I totally tried to pick that answer and I did not pick it.
No, Eunice is taking the lead.
Eunice took the lead. Formative assessment. Okay, yeah, so if you picked red or blue, you were correct. Assessment of learning. So yeah, I wouldn't quite fall under there.
So my app's not working, so I just have to kind of put it down.
Okay, it's got to be pretty much the last question anyway.
Yeah, we're at the last one.
Yeah, assessment for and as are obviously formative. Assessment of learning has potentially formative qualities, but unfortunately in the system, it's unlikely that that'll be revisited in a short enough time span for it to actually be formative.
Yeah, it kicked me out.
Being summative.
Like I'm like back at the start.
Okay, that's okay. You can just follow along then.
No problem.
For the last question.
And one more to go. Summative assessment. Oh wow, so you guys were all on the same page, assessment of learning. And everyone picked that. Okay, that's pretty good. So do you guys have like a better understanding of assessment for as and of learning based on what you learn right now? I mean, better than before? Okay, so.
Why does it keep opening?
Let me go back to the thing, right?
Yeah, shut off.
Okay, well, stop screen sharing.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can push that one forward.
Okay, now everyone sees the slideshow again, right?
Okay.
Oh, you want to take over?
Okay, sure. Okay, so just a quick recap of the Kahoot quiz, essentially. So assessment for learning, generally formative, generally diagnostic, right? And it uses feedback, which is a critical point, in order to improve student learning, generally done at the beginning, the middle, and throughout learning a new topic. Assessment as learning is when the student uses an assessment tool in order to facilitate their own learning and improve their learning, right? So that's sort of the key distinguishing factor here, is that they will be using an assessment tool, usually created by the teacher, and that allows them to reflect on their own learning and work towards not making the same mistakes, work towards taking their strengths and further developing them. And assessment of learning, generally summative in practice. It measures student achievement up to a certain point in time, and this is generally what's used for report card writing. It's one of the biggest pieces of evidence for evaluation. And when it comes to assessment of learning, ideally it would also be more formative, as I've said, but unfortunately the way that the system is set up, the assessment of learning takes place at the end and is not revisited for weeks at a time, months at a time, or maybe even in a different class. So think of having a final exam in high school. You no longer necessarily revisit any of that in order to be able to make improvements until maybe a different course down the road, maybe years away. So that was the assessment framework. Now there are 3 processes that are sort of the key building blocks to this, which is establishing where the learners are going in their learning, establishing where they are in their learning, and establishing what needs to be done to get them to where they are going. So these are the things that you should essentially always have in mind when creating assessments, when even creating lesson plans and looking at what it is you will be assessing. And there's 5 strategies to help. So identifying and clarifying learning goals and success criteria, engineering effective classroom discussions and other learning tasks that elicit information about student learning, providing feedback that helps learners move forward, through targeted instruction and guidance, engaging students as learning resources for one another, and through targeted instruction and guidance, helping students understand what it means to own their own learning and empowering them to do so. So regarding learning goals and success criteria, learning goals and success criteria need to be co-created in student-friendly language. Now, the co-creation is ideal. You can take it upon yourself in order to co-create, and or you can create it by yourself rather, but with co-creation, that guarantees that it's student-friendly language, and it guarantees that the students do understand, what it is that they're attempting to learn. right? And the learning goals themselves are based from curriculum expectations, and the success criteria, they need to reflect on what that learning looks like itself, right? So, you know, it needs to be a specific task, a specific product, or a specific outcome that's related directly to the learning goal. And I am just seeing here now that we have been having a few questions. Which do you think is the hardest form of assessment for teachers, for students? So me personally, I think that assessment, when it comes for teachers, is maybe the as learning one, simply because, you know, that one is a little bit hard to come to terms with, to understand, you know, and then once you do understand it, it's not easy to implement, and it takes a lot of student cooperation in order to implement. So it can't just happen all at once where you give them an assessment sheet and expect them to reflect properly, at least, right? So it takes a bit of training with the students, and but at the same time, I believe that that can be one of the most rewarding ones, because it empowers them to think reflectively about their own work, and allows them to value that work, and as I've said, sort of stop mistakes from happening, and to strengthen, you know, their already strong fundamentals.
Justin lost power in his house, so that's why he disappeared.
Okay. Yeah, I was wondering what happened.
Yeah. Well, hopefully he comes back on, you know, battery-wise. If not, we'll just have to continue. Okay, so evaluation. This is pretty much the end of it. This is a communication to parents, other teachers, employers, institutions of further education, and the students themselves, right? So it's there to communicate an overall understanding, right? So what the students can do when it comes to the overall expectations, and it's a summary of their learning. Generally, it's assessment of learning that is the evidence used for this, but there's definitely space for, you know, as and for learning to be, you know, involved in that evidence. All right, so the overall expectations are comprised of several specific expectations, right? So that's why by evaluating the overall expectations, we are in turn also evaluating the specific expectations, right? And then report card grades, so use that evidence, and teachers' professional judgment and interpretation. So this is where the for and as can come into play as well, to communicate the student's most consistent level of achievement, and they need to grant special consideration to more recent achievement. So it's expected that students will improve throughout your class, right? That's essentially the goal of improving student learning. So, you know, if that does stand, it would be better to put a higher weight on more recent work than it would be to weigh everything equally. And then this here is the way that achievement is set up for grades 1 through 6. So our 4+ to 1- relates to letter grades at this point in time. And then for 7 through 12, the 4+ and 1- relate to percentage marks. And each one has their own space, but there's also some wiggle room. As you notice, a 4+ isn't exactly 100%, it's 95 to 100. So again, professional judgment is what dictates whether it's a 95 or 100 if a 4+ was given. So for report cards themselves, I just wanted to share how the report card system works, right? So we have here the reporting achievement. So elementary progress reports are released between October 20th and November 20th each school year. This is across all of Ontario, right? So these are progress reports. They are templates. They're made for you. And as we'll see, you know, very quickly, they're not anything scary, right? And then elementary provincial report cards are released twice a year between January 20th and February 20th for the first one, and near the end of June for the end of year report card. And progress reports inform about student achievement using 3 levels. So these ones aren't your ABCs or your percentage points. It's progressing with difficulty, progressing well, and progressing very well. Right? That's to inform the students pretty early on in the semester, like we said, by November 20th. So this is what the actual template for the public school elementary provincial report card looks like. So you can see here, right, this is all just information that's pretty much provided by the board. This is what you need to essentially fill in here. It's the days absent, total days absent, times late, total times late. Right? This here is the learning skills and work habits. It is fixed with excellent, good, satisfactory, needs improvement. Your first report card, right? The first reporting period is in the first column, and then the second reporting period is here. And it gives you just this much space to create a comment for the learning skills and work habits. Moving from there, you have each subject. Right now, depending if you're a Rotary teacher or, you know, like let's say you're teaching French, chances are you're only teaching French. You would be filling out one portion while the homeroom teacher fills out the majority of it, and, you know, any other Rotary teachers would fill out the rest. Strengths, next steps for improvement, right? This is key here, and we want this to be original, ideally. We want it to be applicable to the student specifically. Identify strengths for the student, identify the steps for improvement, all in a positive way, and ending definitely on a positive note. And then here again, report 1, report 2, you have 2 different columns, and then you also have to check off whether it is ESL, ELD, or IEP specific. And then same thing for native language. This would be filled out as English usually. Now, mathematics, this is what we're focusing on here. Out of the strands, number sense numeration, measurement, geometry, spatial sense, patterning and algebra, data management, probability, you do not need to assess all of them on each report, but you do need at least 4 of the 5 on each report, and between the 2 reports, every single one of the strands needs to be assessed at least once. And then, you know, finally, that just continues on through science and technology, social studies. Again, it's report card writing is a collaborative effort between you and the rest of the teachers. So for our last activity, what we would like to do is have you all write a report card comment. So we are going to show some data that may have been collected. Let's think of these as maybe progress reports. That would make things easier, or even maybe semester 1 or that first sort of reporting period on the official provincial report card. All right, so that's just an example there. You know, Kevin did not contribute, complete a written test. So these are just anecdotal notes.
Should we probably create like a Google Doc so we can all write their comments in that doc? And we can pull it up.
Yeah, we could do that. Okay, so first, we're going to go ahead and show you the data that we would like for you to use. Okay, can everyone see that clearly? Oh, yeah, and actually that's a good idea. We can post the comments that you guys come up with directly into the chat function. Okay, so it's up to you which student you decide to post on.
Yeah, just pick any one and then just focus on that one student. And based on the data that is shown, like their homework completion, their responsibility, their group work, etc., try to create a comment off of that.
And hopefully now you should all be able to see the full thing there. So I'll allow a few minutes for that.
I just did one small comment. I'm not sure if you wanted more.
So I mean, this is a trial, you know, sort of for you guys, just to get you a little bit comfortable, you know. So it could be as small as you want it. If you want to,
I just did the next step instead of the strength criticism. I just did next step.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's an aspect of it for sure. We'll go over very quickly at the very end here, just sort of, you know, what is ideal for a comment. But I wanted you all to try writing beforehand.
Yeah. We're going to go through it with you guys. Well, my goal is to get everything done today. I'm pretty sure.
We all favor Noah.
Yeah, it's true. It seems that Noah's pretty popular. Maybe it's because he's the first on the list. I don't know.
And fun fact.
Lindsay got Megan.
Fun fact, coming up with all the names, I just picked like celebrities.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys know Noah Centineo, the guy from what's that movie, that Netflix, to Dear All the Boys I've Ever Loved.
The boys I used to love.
Yeah.
Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Justin Timberlake?
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber.
Well, and then I end up putting Selena after. I'm like, oh shoot. And I did Harry Styles, but then I don't know, Megan. When I thought of Harry Styles, I thought of like Prince Harry, and then I thought of Meghan Markle.
Creative.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'd like to, while you're all just finishing up, I'm going to read out some of the comments that we have here. So Taylor had written, Noah is encouraged to complete homework and submit for feedback and support. Noah stays on task very well and shows good collaborative skills and leadership. Okay, so that was basically what we're looking for in terms of the need for improvement, right? But it's written in a way where Noah is encouraged to complete homework, right? So it's still positive, which is very good. And then again, it ends on a positive. Noah stays on task very well, right? For Eunice, Noah is an important member of our vibrant classroom. By remaining on task, he is able to complete all of his work by agreed upon deadlines.
I think you got that mixed up a bit. Because isn't it he didn't complete it? I'm pretty sure.
So
no, Noah's on task, and all his projects are completed. So 5 out of 5.
Yeah, so Noah has all 5 components of his project completed, right? His homework completion, he has September the 4th, October the 6th, November the 11th, but he's missing September the 12th, October 7th, 8th, 9th, 23rd of December. So he has a bit of homework completion issues. But as far as the major project, that he has completed the entire thing, right? And then the group work statements are below as well. So it just goes to show that, you know, it's it can vary depending on what a teacher may favor, right? One teacher may put homework completion at sort of a front point, while others are more concerned with, let's say, a large project that's worth a bulk of a weighted mark, right?
It's good to like focus on the positive more than the negative. So like you focus on the positive, but then you also have to like say next steps, like, yeah, so Noah is good in this area, yet he needs to continue to work on this and this.
So the key essentially there is to not completely have a mismatch between the marks. So let's say Noah's grade is a 60, and yet everything is positive, right? Then we have a bit of a mismatch.
Yeah. You don't also want to like just spruce it up too much, and then like the parents are going to be confused, like, oh wait, but you said good things about him, but according to his marks here. So you have to kind of like match the marks to the comment as well.
Is anybody still there? Everything seems frozen. All of your faces are not moving.
Can you hear me?
I'm here.
We're all here.
Okay, so you're all there. It's just that
you can see
your faces themselves aren't moving. Okay, so that's
construction guys cut power to Justin's house, and he's not going to be back.
Okay, well that's okay. We'll fill him in on what he's missed. Okay, so we'll set it back to this here. Okay, so essentially, as I was saying, even though we can't see you guys, we can hear you, so that's still okay. And hopefully the YouTube video itself will reflect your motions and not just static images, but that's okay. So yeah, so basically, you know, you don't want to have a giant mismatch where you're saying all positive things with no improvement suggestions, and then have a mark of, let's say, 70, right? And you definitely need evidence for any sort of actual letter grade that you are giving.
Yeah, if we go back to the PowerPoint, we can show them.
Yeah, we'll go afterwards, yeah. And so we have from Jordan here, Noah's an enthusiastic learner who is able to remain on task. He shows leadership skills by helping to direct his group to finish tasks. Noah is encouraged to continue to take on various group roles, right? So here we're focusing on the group work, right? And for Jordan, you know, that's very important, you know, and something like homework completion may not contribute to his mark as much, right? Lindsay has... Megan is a great leader and often takes charge when it comes time for group work. However, she sometimes forgets to include all group members and is encouraged to listen to the perspectives of her peers when doing group work. Megan often volunteers to take on roles such as recorder. Megan is encouraged to complete her tasks before socializing with her friends. Right, so this is a nice mixture here. So we have some positive, some things that Megan can work on, you know, we're having then another positive, and then ending with a little bit of a room for improvement as well. And finally, from Nadine, we have Selena is a very organized and attentive student who always ensures her tasks are completed. Selena needs, however, to work on her communicative skills during classroom activities. Great effort is always made and put into other aspects of group work. All right, so again, you know, definitely focusing on the sort of social aspects, which obviously bleed into the actual products of the work as well. Right, so that's something else to keep in mind. Okay, so we are going to wrap up. Does everyone see the report card comments screen?
The PowerPoint?
Like we're back to the PowerPoint now? Okay, so yeah. These are some general rules here. All right, so we want to start on a positive note. Always begin each comment with a general statement, letting the parents know how happy you are to be teaching their child. Right, now you can make this less general, and the less general you make it, the better. You know, so obviously, you know, having specific examples of the student would be great. And there's some examples here for openers. And then specific information definitely needs to follow, even if you did do general for the beginning. You know, so these are, again, some examples, right? And they're generally positive, you know, get the reader sort of, you know, understanding the strengths that the student may have. So setting a goal would be next, right? So setting a goal, again, wants to be done positively. So we have some examples here your child would benefit from. You know, this term we'll be working on or working towards. I would like to see your child work on. You know, so those are the goals. And then again, for closing, we would like to keep things positive, right? So I'm so proud of everything that's been accomplished. Keep up the wonderful things you're doing. And we've also included a table here for word choice, right? So words that can promote positive messages, that convey a need for help, and simply words to avoid, right? So we don't want to be able to use always and never. Those are absolutes, and essentially don't even apply in life. You know, keep away from those. Can't, cannot, won't, will not, unable, right? Whereas something good would be could profit by, or you know, can find it difficult at times, needs reinforcement in, and then promote positive messages, thorough caring, shows commitment. And this is just an example of an in-depth kind of report card comment. Also, you know, may generalized, right? So it has been a pleasure to teach blank this term. She arrives at school each day with a positive attitude, bright smile, determination to do her best no matter what the task. She's an active participant in both full class and small group discussions, eagerly offering her ideas and insights. During independent work periods, blank can always be counted on to stay on task. Her work is always completed on time and with considerable detail. She checks in with her teachers regularly while working to ensure that she is on the right track and readily asks for clarification when necessary. When collaborating with peers, blank easily takes on leadership roles to help guide her group to success. She engages her peers in the task and tries to encourage everyone to contribute. On the rare occasion that conflicts arise, she is generally able to work with her peers to resolve the issue without needing assistance. Overall, blank has been very successful this year. She has been a positive role model for her classmates. Have a wonderful summer, and then the name. So, you know, this would obviously be for a second report card after you really get to know the student. This would be something that a homeroom teacher would be most likely to put. Can anyone tell me what might be missing here? Either in the chat or in words.
There's no next step
more
on
next
there.
steps. Yeah,
Yes.
next steps.
More next steps, absolutely. So, you know, this student, you would look at it, and even if the mark was reflective purely of this comment, maybe, you know, the student had a 95 and it's grade 8, right? So, you know, they're leaving your school, they have a good mark. You should still, even in this situation, take the time to think about some way that they can improve further. You know, maybe it doesn't mean getting 110%. You know, that's not necessarily the goal, but there's always a way to improve student learning.
Well, like one thing I learned from my placement was there was a student who was an exceptional learner and she just excelled in everything. And in her report card comment, like my AT said, maybe try to encourage her to do above and beyond for next year. So she's going into grade 8. And in the comment, it said, you know, she does great at this and excels in this and stuff. I encourage her to join like the social committee for the school for next year or take on more active leadership roles since those are her strengths. You know, because the one weakness she had was she like contributes a lot to the class and everything, but she's just a little bit on the shy side. So the teachers like just encourage her to like take on more like club or leadership roles. That was a good next step for someone who's like an exceptional student.
So that concludes our webinar on report card writing, assessment, evaluation, sort of a little bit of everything you'll need to know. And that's it. Enjoy. Yeah. Goodbye. Thank you for participating.
Yes.
We appreciate it.
Hope you guys had fun.
That was awesome, guys.
Sayonara.
Yeah.